Whoa, there it goes, blowing off. Okay, and we're at just above 40, so that's about right. There it goes, keeps blowing off. Hello again everybody, welcome back to another video. This time I want to talk about basic maintenance of your locomotive. In the 16mm Narrow Gauge Modelers Association that I'm a member of, they have something called an annual steam test. And what I'm going to do is roughly what they describe in the annual steam test, plus a couple of things extra that I've learned and experienced that it's good to do. I would think it's good to have at least one session a year where you take a good look at your locomotive mechanically. Keeps the locomotive in good condition, hopefully. Doing this check has a potential to prevent accidents and potentially expensive locomotive damage to the locomotive itself, and if there's an accident while running, to any rolling stock you have. Maybe even the most important reason to do this annual steam test is if you're like me and the majority of the time that you're actually running a locomotive, it's on a track that's accessible to the general public. This test helps to give you a bit of peace of mind that you're running the locomotive safely and there's not going to be any problems of injury to third parties from the general public, adults or children. The procedure then. So we'll start off with the cold check. So what we're going to do is we're going to look around the locomotive externally, and then we're going to zoom in at any steam and gas joints, and just to see whether we see any visible signs of leaks, and we're going to check the tightness. So let's do that now. So the first thing we do is remove any loose items on the locomotive, because we are going to be tipping it on its side or on its back. So we'll remove them first. What I'm going to start with, I'm going to start at the top externally and work down. And for me, the most important bit on the outside at the top is the safety valves. So here we are then, we're just checking for any visual damage, external damage to the housing of the safety valve, and especially on top. We don't want this pin being bent. And also, I hope you can see there, once when this safety valve was calibrated, I actually put a stripe on here so I can easily see if this internal part here for some reason has rotated loose. I can easily see that it's not where it should be. So the safety valve there, that looks okay. All right, the next thing I'm checking is around the cylinders, especially the cylinder covers here on the inside. I'm looking for any visual signs of leakage, that it's damp or anything, especially around these screws on the end covers and here by the glands in here, and I'm not seeing anything there. And the same on the front. I'm looking to see that those cylinder covers are nice and dry on both sides. Okay, so the next thing then is just checking the bolts and screws that are connected with the valve gear. And now what I'm doing here, I'm not tightening, I'm just checking to see that they've not been loosened. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not trying to tighten them anymore. As I said before in another video, if you've got a roundhouse locomotive, you should have a set of BA spanners. So going through the others, just checking the tightness where you can. So on the lifting link then, you've got two screws on this side and you've got two nuts on the other side, and they're quite difficult to get at. So what we want to do is just check that they've actually been tightened up. Just check the tightness. Yeah, and the rear one, same. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, that's all we're looking for, just to see that nothing's worked loose. So here we have the locomotive on its back, and because it's got bogie and pony trucks, we'll just check the screw holding all that on. Yeah, again, just checking it's not come loose. So free play in the axle direction is not a problem. It's if it's this way, then you've got a problem, and there's no movement there at all. So I'm happy with that. All right, let's put it back on its wheels and go into the cab. Okay, in the cab then, we're just looking to see if there's any signs of any gas leakage when it's cold around the gas joints, steam joints here, from the steam regulator down here. See if I can get in there with the, so you can see it. So there's a spanner, just a little, just against the pressure to see that you've got resistance and it's not working loose. Down here with the burner, we'll give this a go. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, while we're in the cab, let's have a look at the pressure gauge. Okay, with the pressure gauge, what we're looking for when the engine's cold, that it's actually reading 0. It's not stuck some way above 0. And also that there's an indicator on the glass when you're, in this case, 40 psi, which is the normal running pressure. And if this locomotive had a water gauge, you check to see that it can be clearly read, no leakages, and there was no visible obstructions in the gauge, nothing floating around inside or anything. So we've done all the cold checks, so the next thing to do is fire it up and warm the locomotive up. But before we do that, I like to just check the movement for the forward and reversing gear. So we've got the radio control unit in this case on, and we'll just engage forward gear. And what we're looking for is that the bolt for the radius rod, it's not jammed against the end of this groove in the down position for forward, and it's not. And we'll do the same in the reverse gear. In reverse gear, it's the same. So we'll switch that back off to neutral. I'm happy with that. So now we can light up the locomotive. So we'll let the locomotive slowly warm up. So while the locomotive's warming up, we're looking for 3 things. We're looking to see that there is no leakage during the warm-up around the cylinder end covers or anywhere in the steam system actually. We're looking to see that there is movement in the pressure gauge there, and we're also looking to see that the moment that the safety valve actually starts to lift, and that is according to the manufacturer's instructions. And in the case of Roundhouse, that's around about 35 psi. Okay, the needle has left the 0, so the pressure is building. So we'll keep an eye on the safety valve as well. Yeah, something's starting to come out the safety valve now. Whether you can see that. Just thought I saw something. And we're now just under 40, just about 40. There it goes. It's blowing off now. Whoa, there it goes, blowing off. Let's take a look again at the pressure gauge. Now the way you can see that it is actually blowing off, and the pressure is staying the same. So we'll turn the gas down. What we want to do is get the pressure back down, because we want to check to see when the safety valve actually shuts. So we'll release some steam by running the locomotive, and we can see if we can drop that pressure. Keep an eye on the pressure. Pressure's going down, and the safety valve is just weeping now, almost shut, and the pressure's gone down to 25. So if you look here at the front cylinder cover, there is some leakage here around this gasket. So what we'll do, we'll tighten up the cylinder cover screws after we've stopped. So I'll be getting to work on tightening up that cylinder cover off camera. I'll probably do another steam test just to check to see the leak's gone, but it's a perfect illustration of why it's handy to do this annual steam test. I found something that's leaking a bit, so I can do what needs to be done to get it sorted, and I'll do this steam test with all of my locomotives. So I hope you found this video interesting, and hopefully I'll see you again in the new year. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.